Everyone joining us. Delighted to have you back with our Rethinking work series. And we're in here for a very special conversation. I am delighted to welcome today to our webinar Katie McCleary, who is the CEO and co-owner of LQ Listening Intelligence. And that's just one of her distinctions. Katie is a powerhouse in the field of leadership development. She is a TEDx speaker with over 4 million views. She is a celebrated author and was recently named, very recently, one of the 100 women to know in America in 2026. Her methodology that we are going to hear about today is currently being used by global giants such as Boeing, PwC, and Stanford Health. And they're using this methodology to transform their teams and to improve their communication. So today, Katie will show us how understanding unique listening profiles can lead to sharper decision making and measurable business outcomes. Katie, we're thrilled to have you with us today to help us in our day-to-day work bridge that gap. And I just want to make a logistical comment before I pass the mic. Is for all of you joining, please let us know where you're calling from in the chat. But for the Q&A that is going to come after Katie's talk, we're going to ask you to put it in the Q&A tab. And we promise that we will get to the conversation. But first, let's listen to Katie. Katie, please take it away.
Oh, thank you so much. And thanks for that warm introduction. Thank you all for showing up today. I know how busy work life is, and taking this moment to learn about listening in probably a radically different way than you're used to will be worth your time. So allow me, if you can, for me to share my screen here. And we will begin and leave plenty of time for conversation at the end, right? So here we go. So the company is called Listening Intelligence, right? And we know that we've moved from IQ to EQ to CQ to LQ. And communication, quality communication, the way in which we coach, lead, inspire, move, align, and activate, it begins far before words come out of our mouth. It is about listening and the intention of listening. And we're going to talk today about some differences between active listening and listening intelligence within our field of work. So again, my goal, I want to radically change the way that you think about listening. I want to put more tools in your toolkit. So let's really ground ourselves in some real data around the cost of poor listening. You can look at that screen as I'm talking. I'm just going to pull out a few. 7.5 hours a week is lost due to miscommunication. Companies with 500 full-time employees use anywhere from $6 to $13 million annually because of poor listening. 91% of employees say that their leaders lack communication skills, and 82% of them would consider quitting their job. I believe firmly a leader's job is to listen and communicate well. That is 95% of the battle. Performance. 86% of employees and executives cite a lack of collaboration and ineffective communication to workplace failures. And in a study of over 4,200 leaders, found that those that were rated as poor listeners ranked only in the 15th percentile for trust, and excellent listeners reached the 86th percentile. I can tell you firmly that as creatures with nervous systems of habit, we have 8 core emotions inside of us that a lot of feelings derive from, and that impacts how we collaborate and communicate. And we as leaders need to go all in on cultivating joy and trust. And you can do that by being a fantastic listener before you ever open your mouth. And 80% of workplace conflict stems from poor communication. So listening, it is powerful. And it's not only powerful in leadership. If you think about sales and where we lose revenue and deals, a lot happens in the miscommunication space between what the buyer wants to what the seller sells to how they bring it back to their teams and implement that. A lot of frustrating shuffle in between those spaces, and it is due to poor listening. So I'm going to have you pop in the chat. What makes a good listener? And I'm not going to look at the chat, but I'm going to guess because I've done this a lot, right? Somebody who pays attention, somebody who is present, someone who makes the speaker feel heard, somebody who seeks to understand, somebody who is curious and open. And yes, that is absolutely a part of listening, but it might not capture the full entire picture. So at LQ, we are really invested in the science of listening. There is the art of listening and the art of deep listening, and that also matters. But let's use science and data to really understand this dynamic field that's in between us when we communicate. So for years, I mean decades now, the predominant taught paradigm in organizations is active listening. And we also teach a lot of empathetic listening. So let's look at active listening. It's rooted in a humanistic approach to psychology that emphasizes empathy, understanding, and personal growth. It was developed by Carl Rogers and a team in the 1950s in therapeutic settings to help make patients feel heard, because we knew that there were positive outcomes when someone feels heard. What happened is that as corporations rose and company and organizations rose and began to invest in leadership and leadership development, we kind of took active listening and we boiled it down to be taught as a set standard of behaviors that give the impression that one has the speaker's full attention. And at its most simplistic level, what that looks like is it's what I'm doing now. I'm connecting, I'm engaging, I'm nodding, I'm looking at you in the eye. We have sort of decided in our American workplace, we have a cultural understanding of that's what good listening looks like. Now, I worked in education in low-income schools for a very long time. And I can tell you that teachers would get very frustrated when they say, my students aren't listening. And I'll say, what does listening look like to you? Well, they're not paying attention. Is that really listening? Because years later, as we would find out, and I would begin to take on this work, that's not actually listening. It's a piece of the equation. But at the same time, different people have different behaviors in how they listen. And because we prize in the workplace this understanding of nodding and doing active listening, that we think that's listening, it's not enough. And I'm going to go through that in a little bit. So here's where listening intelligence brings in a lot more science to truly understand how to be an effective listener that can help the other feel heard, but we're really after truly hearing, not just the feelings around it. It's a skill that can be developed with self-awareness, attention, and intentional cognitive and behavioral adjustments that happen in real time. What we're after is to create professionals who are aware, adept, and agile in their listening. That's what we want. It's a practical framework to achieve clarity, connection, and alignment. And it goes beyond simply understanding feelings as a prescriptive adjustment to improve the quality of the interaction. There is some phenomenal research coming out of Dr. Avi Kluger and Guy Itchikoff. I just had the delightful experience through the global listening movement to spend 3 days with Dr. Kluger, where he really unveiled his meta-analysis around how does listening and this idea of togetherness improve workplace trust and relationships. So if you're really into this, read this work. And I'm going to break it down for you in a very simple way. And then we'll tie it to active listening and then listening intelligence. So let's just say we're in a one-on-one interaction. This is their theory of episodic listening. The speaker, if they perceive that good listening is happening, notice I didn't say active listening, that good listening is happening, they will feel psychologically safe, which means that they can be more authentic and self-disclose their real thoughts, concerns, feelings, fears. At the same time, in this interaction, when the listener perceives authenticity from the speaker, the quality of our listening improves, which means that we engage more. We're more curious. We can be more adaptive and ask more insightful questions to seek and learn understanding. So, as the speaker's authenticity grows, the listening listener's improvement grows. And that is what Dr. Kluger calls a sense of togetherness. And in togetherness, we can navigate tough dialogue, decision making, clarity around where we're going and aligning, and create more action to get there faster and reduce miscommunication. It improves trust, relationship building, and culture at the same time. So in listening intelligence, we have a practical framework built off our own research that I'm going to go after right next, is that we want people to understand their own listening preferences, their own habits that they have built over time of what they filter in and what they completely filter out and ignore. Self-awareness is great. It's not enough, right? It's not enough in business, especially. So we take it another step further. How do I go out into the wild and recognize the listening habits and preferences of other, especially in the first moments of an interaction? Because that is then my opportunity to adapt my listening to the circumstances and the people in real time. And then also be agile enough in that moment when it's our turn to speak as our authentic selves, to speak into them so that we can be heard too. So at LQ, we're all about awareness, being adept at it, and then being agile as communicators so that we can really get at true alignment and teamwork and the outcomes we wish to achieve. Next slide. So I'm going to go into our research. We have been a company for about 17 years, different iterations of it. The work really comes out of Marion Thayer, and she was a leadership coach, and it was all about communication. We spent so much time about, influencing, speaking, presenting, executive presence. And she thought 17 years ago, hey, I think this is about listening, and active listening is not cutting it, especially the way that we boiled it down into simplicity. So she worked with Princeton, a bunch of psychometricians. She consulted with neuroscientists over at UCSF, and she set out to create an assessment that turned out over many years with many different experts touching it, a cognitive assessment that can really identify the listening habits and preferences in one's brain. So here's what this boils down to. We all listen differently. We process information with different filters. No two brains are alike. We might hear with our ears, but we listen with our brain. And how we listen is tied to our thinking, which is tied to our speaking. And what we already think about, care about, and know, it shifts our listening capacity. Next slide. Ultimately, listening is a habit. It is a cognitive function, and you can measure it. So we are creatures that are homeostatic, meaning that we want to conserve energy. And the brain and the body creates a habit so that it can conserve energy and you can get there faster. The problem with that is that in that habit, you might be missing out on what's happening all around you through that shortcut. So we want to build strength around the other areas where you haven't built a habit so that you can become that agile communicator. Next slide. We have a published validity portfolio in Routledge that was peer reviewed. It was led by America's listening expert, who is Dr. Graham Bodie. And in the research and development of the Echo Listening Profile, which is our proprietary cognitive assessment, we validated that there are 4 unique filters and habits that we can measure. And it is built off an axis of content and context. So let's break down what that means. Next slide. There are 4 ways that we listen: connective, reflective, analytical, and conceptual. Next slide. Connective listening, this particular habit that becomes a preference, which becomes a filter, it focuses on what the information coming at them means for other people. They filter through interests in other people, in groups, in processes, in audiences. Next slide. A reflective listening habit is focused on what does the information that I'm hearing or reading mean for me? They filter the information through their own experiences, their interest, and their purpose. I'm going to give a little bit more depth in this one because we've had over 50,000 assessments taken. We've been training and coaching on our curriculum and organizations for 10 years, and we've learned quite a lot about reflective listeners. They are perhaps your most misunderstood colleague in the workplace. They're not selfish people. They're more internal processors, and they often do not give off the cultural behaviors of active listening. They're the people in the meeting when they're quiet. They might look off into the distance, look up into their brain, and then they'll walk by your office 4 hours later or the next day and they'll say, I've been thinking about that. Here's what we should do. Here's what I can do. Here's what my experience is. And you're like, why didn't you say that in the meeting? They need time. Next slide. Analytical listening habit is a focus on what does this interaction mean to an objective issue and situation at hand. In particular, they're filtering what they're hearing through a desire for results and can it be tested and true? Is it factual? Is it best practice? They often might have skeptical body language. They might woodpecker with questions. They need convincing. And we have to love people with an analytical listening habit because often they're so focused on what we're trying to achieve, they will bring us to that present moment and align us to our goal and what we're going to do to get there. Next slide. Conceptual listening habit. This is a person, or I'm not going to say a person, we're going to say someone who has a conceptual listening habit that is strong. They are focusing on the big pictures, the ideas, and they often can be abstract. They love the future state, the what if. They're the first to go to the whiteboard and get out the sticky notes, exactly what we're seeing here. Their body language is often exciting. I am a highly habited connective and conceptual listener. So they're going to filter through possibility. So I want to kind of bring it all together just for a second. And that these 4 habits, filters, preferences, we kind of use them interchangeably because it's complex. When we put them all together in teamwork, in a meeting, we need it. It's cognitive diversity. It's going to get at a really well-rounded conversation. In addition, you're not just maybe single dominant in one habit or filter. You can be dual dominant. You can be triple dominant. You can even be non-dominant, which we call a flexor. So next slide. So we all listen in all four ways. We just show dominance or preference in one or more of the habits. And our scoring, based off our 10 questions, can show the degree of strength or preference relative to the other habits. So if you look at this sort of sample profile, you'll see the green bar that Jane has a habit of connective listening. So really concerned about the processes or what we're doing and the impact it's going to have on people and their experiences. Now, Jane also has reflective, analytical, and conceptual listening habits. They're just not as strong as that connective one. So our assessment is 10 questions. It's an ipsative assessment, which is a forced ranking. It produces a 20-page report and a graph about how your brain best processes information by what it hears and also just what it reads as well. And we know that if there is a 3-point or more difference between the numbers on your chart, it takes your brain energy to shift in to that other listening habit and style. So that's where we want to build agility and strength. 3 points or less is where we understand where your dominance lies. So for me, I am dual dominant in conceptual and connective listening. And if I look at my body of work for the past 20 years, here's what I did. I took an idea and I created something to help people. I'm pretty low in reflective and analytical listening. And so I need to rely on my team, my peers to help me in those areas because I can get really excited about the future state and how it could help people. And I need someone to sort of bring me back down and say, all right, will it work? Do we have experience with this before? Is this in our best interest and strengths to do? Next slide. Last week, we were featured in the Greater Good Science Center out of UC Berkeley, and we believe that they wrote one of the best articles around listening intelligence and the science of it. And so after this, you'll be getting the slides, you're going to get more information, and you'll also get a link to this article. And one of the reasons why we love it is because, yes, active listening, empathetic listening, the art of deep listening, it matters. And the science of how we make meaning and process information and filter it through our own listening habits and communication also really, really matter. And that's what we're after. And we'll go to Q&A. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Apologies again for a little technical glitch. Yeah, I see some reactions here, and please put your questions in the Q&A tab, which is a separate one. But just to get us started, Katie, kind of the origins of your own interest in listening, and you kind of described a business case,
Yeah.
but it's always very personal. I mean, as I do my research, there's always a trigger for me that is connecting to my experience. Can you make it personal for us and share this?
Yeah. So for the first 17 years of my career, I worked in public education in very, very low income schools and worked in communities, and I'm going to call them communities of promise And I also have worked in prisons, in and out of prisons. I was also a community college adjunct professor teaching writing, and I have an MFA in writing and consciousness. So I really firmly believe in the power of knowing your story, voicing it, writing it, and becoming the author of your own life because I have seen and helped thousands and thousands of kids and adults who struggle to convey and express themselves. And I can tell you that in writing alongside people, I've written alongside at least over 15,000 people. I've helped published over 400 books of their work. The listening part really, really matters. That when you feel heard, understood, valued, and accepted for who you are and the story in which you were born into that you may or may not have any control over, or maybe you made mistakes, like the guys that I write with in prison. Through understanding our own meaning making and our own story, that is where we can find a lot of power in healing. So I call myself a writer, but really in writing with other people, I've just been a listener. So after that 17 years, I left my nonprofit in public education because I was really burnt out. It's hard to live in that every single day.
Yeah.
And luckily, people came to me for consulting and leadership development. And my consulting career took off from there. And I realized that some of the same problems we were seeing in the classroom and in prisons and in these low income communities were happening in our boardroom, in our
Mm.
teamwork, in our breakdown. Because guess what? Healthy youth development, trauma informed care is positive adult development. And
Mhm.
so when I was out teaching for Bridge the Gap, which is my book about the science of curiosity and how to bridge differences in polarizing times in the workplace, the science of curiosity is great. And whenever I went to go teach listening, it fell flat. And so I was searching for a framework that was bigger enough than please pay attention, please show someone that you're listening, and making that case. Because people are really radically different. And if I really want to connect with them, I have to be agile to be in their story, in their brain, in their mind to really make a difference. And that's where this work comes out personally for me.
Oh, I love it. I think this is really, really powerful. And I love the term communities of promise. I think there's not enough, and definitely if we think about those communities, it's the listening part that's completely absent. No one is
Yep.
listening to those individuals who are in those communities. We have a question, and I will just try to follow the logic here. First of all, really great feedback here. And Kim has a question, how your research connects and aligns with DISC communication styles.
Yeah, thank you. We get that question all the time. So, DISC is a behavioral assessment that, right, really is trying to understand how you behave in leadership and connect. So, DISC, and we can correlate them directly to our cognitive assessment, which is just measuring what's happening in your brain. DISC has a communication piece to it. We focus solely on communication. And so when we complement it together, it's really, really powerful because you understand how how your behaviors are shaping you as a teammate, a leader, a colleague, a coach. And then we can focus and narrow in on the communication aspect of it so that you can be agile and so we find the two together. We actually have commissioned a white paper and research paper on it. We actively work with the second largest distributor of DISC assessments in the nation. It's the Center for Internal Change. They're fabulous. They're DISC masters, and they use LQ2. And
Mhm.
so Dr. Graham Bodie and the Center for Internal Change and LQ are writing a white paper right now directly about DISC and LQ. So stay tuned.
Amazing. What a great question. Similar along the same lines, because there are a lot of coaches here, experts in, personal development, questions about Myers-Briggs, even Hogan
Mhm.
assessments. I mean, I'm sure you looked at all of the connections and overlaps, etc., and kind of put yourself in the sweet spot of a listening intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah, we focus on one thing and we do it really well, which is the science of listening. And we complement all the assessments out there. We're also doing a white paper on six working geniuses that's about to come out. The research study was done in a classroom, very promising work. And then we also work with another second largest distributor of strength finders in the nation.
Mhm.
And we actually do a lot of certification with the guy who Dr. Ryan Darby, who basically helped invent Clifton Strength Finders. He does our certification for LQ. So we are really proud of being a cognitive assessment that can amplify those behavioral and personality assessments.
Yes. Again, but building on this whole connections theme, Karen is asking that your approach sounds very much like the whole brain model,
Yeah.
HBDI categories, and saying that people listen the way they act. And she wants you to comment on this as well.
We're closest to that one, and we're also close to emergenetics. I think one thing that we have done is that by focusing on cognitive diversity, we've taken some of the sting out of personality and human dynamics that mess up miscommunication. So I'm going to give you an example. And I want to say that those other two assessments, so research validated and great, I think they're really complicated. So our assessment is 10 questions. It'll take you 5 minutes to do, and you immediately get a report with very practical and tactical tips in your actionable communication that you can use just like that. So that is where our assessment departs a little bit. We, in teaching LQ, we want to take out some of those personality dynamics that we blame, right? Oh, he just doesn't get me, or he's a jerk, or he's always asking these questions, like, right? Mm-mm. We're after cognitive diversity and understanding that communication is a habit built in the brain over time. And we can, with intentional practice, become more agile in how we communicate to others. And we need the whole of cognitive diversity in the room to make great decisions and outcomes. So the act part, like how you act, I think that's the loaded part of the statement for me. Because I've met a ton of people in my life that are not my cup of tea because I don't like the way they act. So, how can I seek with curiosity, understanding, and brain science to know that maybe they have a listening habit that's just different than mine and a communication style that's different than mine? And it's cognitive and it doesn't have to be rooted in, I don't like the way you act.
Mhm. Interesting. Very interesting. There are some extensive comments here, and I just love this from Zachary that I want you, Katie, to comment on. And he's saying, this is a compelling work. From your presentation, I noticed perceptions of authentic speaking being important to the listener's engagement activation. I'm interested in authentic leadership. It's
Mhm.
gotten a lot of writing recently, and it seems that people really encourage leaders to be authentic these days. I wonder what about the leaders that are actually not very nice people? Should they be authentic? What does that do for listener engagement, not to mention psychological safety?
Yeah,
Interesting question.
I love this question. This question is Bridge the Gap. So,
Yeah.
it is true that you are going to work with people who are not your cup of tea, and you might be a leader that is extremely direct, right? Like, we got to get this job done, and they have a particular viewpoint, world, and mindset to do that. And yet, we're asking them to be authentic. So, the coaching moment for a leader like that is, are you going to be perceived as a bully, a villain, a punisher? Or is a better strategy for you? And I say the word strategy intentionally because I have coached a lot of these kind of leaders, and they love a strategy, not being told to be different. A better strategy might be to be a healthy challenger. And I'm speaking a lot of this language rooted within Dr. Cartman's drama triangle. If you don't know about Dr. Cartman's drama triangle, go check it out. Conscious Leadership Group has done a great job of creating shifts with how we basically are perceived and experienced. So the shift is, how can you authentically be yourself as a healthy challenger? And it is about teaching what doctors do, which is that golden knock moment before they enter a room of a patient. How do I gather myself? What is my strategy for being experienced and perceived? Show up in presence. And I would encourage them to listen first by giving them a set of questions. They often need their own sentence starters. Don't rely on their unreliable mouth. And then authentic in, how do you challenge that? How do you speak a truth? It's complicated. That's a complicated question. And there's my 2-minute answer.
Yes, I'm sure there's a lot more to explore here. A couple other questions, and we're going to wrap up. I do encourage everyone to look into your publications, your book, and it's probably on your website as well. So there's plenty of information out there. How does LQ2 connect to employee listening? Big topic in leadership development, talent
Yeah.
management.
Yeah. So we do equip leaders and mid-level managers, but we work with employees, everyday contributors. And so there's just different varieties and experiences that you can do, right? And so one of the things that we're developing right now is a behavioral AI technology. And I talk about it on the New York Stock Exchange if you just Google that. And it's going to give some conversation roadmap paths to be able to really connect with everyday professionals and individual contributors. And how do we navigate some of those conversations in a way that doesn't shame them or shut down psychological safety? Um, I would love it in my dream world to have an organization say, we're going to go all in on LQ. And we've made our assessment very affordable, by the way, and for that reason alone. And so how can we use something where, Tom has to go talk to Brad and they can say, all right, let me pull up the LQ profile and then have a roadmap for how to go and have a curious conversation, a critical conversation, a feedback conversation, a collaborative conversation, an alignment conversation, right? Like people need these roadmaps. We need transparent communication. And I'm not sure that in leadership development, we've done a very good job of that.
Yes, this definitely, all of these additional perspectives are informing what we do with leaders as well. And the final one, a little bit connected to a couple of previous questions. Tracy is asking an interesting question. How have some of your clients reacted to their results in terms of self-understanding and practical applications?
So this is anecdotal. I'm going to say 95 to 98% of the time, we nail it. We nail it. They're just like, yeah, that's it. And they feel seen, right? And I'm going to say especially people who have high reflective or analytical listening habits. Because of our focus on active and empathetic listening in the workplace and authenticity, there's a bias that has been built against people who may have that listening preference and communication style. So they feel seen. We have a paper coming out in a handbook published by Routledge in the fall, and we give a case study example about so we can do team profiles. You have a team that's highly connective and conceptual, and you had one person on the team that was single dominant analytical. And we were pulled aside before our training and said, hey, we're going to let so and so go because they're just not a team player. This happens all the time. We say it's a personality problem. He just rubs everybody the wrong way. He can't get on the same page as the rest of us. He asks these questions and it derails us. At the end of that training, tears happened amongst the team, in particular, the man with the highly analytical listening habit. Can you imagine that? He cried, right? He wanted to be on the team. He wants to provide value. He's asking really important questions. He's trying to get them to align to the thing and know, is it going to work? Are we going to waste our time? I don't want to do rework. They saw him in a whole new light. He didn't let go. And then they decided to put that in the rest of their company, which they had 5 subsidiaries. That's the power of listening intelligence. It is often not a people or a production problem. It is a listening problem and how we make meaning between people and align and get to the outcome we're all driving towards.
Yes, very interesting. There are so many aspects to what you are presenting here, and Ms. Otis here, thank you for your question. The question is about the Coaching and Technology Summit that's coming up. Yes, alumni, if you are an alumna of NYU, there are special discounts. We have information for you, and obviously Katie will be there in person presenting. She's going to bring her books, her research, her latest cards that I just heard about,
Our
and
deck.
kind of gamifying this approach, which I think is exactly what works for teams. I would love to look at those techniques and methodologies. Renee, could we have the upcoming events? And Katie, phenomenally mind expanding. Thank you so much. This webinar is going to be posted on our YouTube site, but here are a few others coming up. And most importantly, June 15th, 16th, here on campus, Kimmel Center. Please join us. If you have questions, reach out to our team. We would love to see you, and you can engage in a live conversation with Katie and listen to her very intelligently. This is what I am going to do. And again, thank you all so much for taking time this afternoon, and we'll speak with you soon. Thanks so much. Bye,
Yep.
Katie.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.